Hey guys, Semogue Boar brush for today. This is the 1800. You can differentiate it between the 1250 because it has a band. It has the dyed band here. The 1250 is a solid blonde type color. The soap we're going to use is Thomas Tew from Black Ship Grooming. It's a citrus scent. Talk more about that in a minute. We're going to put this Wizamet blade, Wizamet Super Iridium Extra Stainless is the name of that one. I think it's kind of a vintage Wizamet. Did really well for me the last shave in a very similar razor to this. The razor has the cool Gillette etching or non-etching. Has the bar fat handle. And then it's got some interesting stampings. Obviously, you can see it's made in Canada. And you can also see it's a Gillette with a Gillette diamond logo. On my right side over here is a W, and over here in that same adjacent location is a 2. So it's made in the second quarter of 1951, I believe the W indicates. Now, then you'll also see it say 1932. I was looking at that online, and just from a brief bit of research, seems to indicate that is the year that the patent might have been filed in Canada. It's also the year that King Gillette died. Now, I don't know which it belongs to. Probably the patent year. Probably wasn't a tribute to King Gillette, but I don't know at all. And so that has sometimes confused people. It's definitely not the year that it was made. The W indicates that it's 1951. And this is another one of those peaked, kind of triangle peaked top caps where it's not a curve right here. It comes to a pointed peak, just like the one from the UK that I shaved with yesterday. And then we have here's the base plate. As you can see, it's kind of got a curve to it. Looks definitely noticeably different from the American techs. And I'll definitely do a comparison where I show you all of them in a video in forthcoming days. So, but it's got a great polish on it, looks terrific, looks in great shape. And so we're going to shave with it. I'm confident that it's going to be wonderful. You can tell that it's post-war because it has the oval slots here. They don't come to a peak down at the bottom part in the center, toward the center of the base plate. They're complete oval slots. So while this is open, we'll get out the blade from the wrapping. It is a blade that looks just like the Pole Silver. Pole Silvers don't actually say Pole Silver on them. They just look exactly like this. Some people think they're the same blade. If I had to guess, based on my last shave, I'd say they might be the same blade because they felt great. But I don't know. We'll see. Some people report differences. Some people think that they're different. I had a very nice shave yesterday with the UK version of the tech. This is the Canadian version. And it held the blade firmly during the shave. It was, as I put the blade back in the water to give it some more soak time, the brush. It's a Boar, so we do need to soak it for at least 3 or 4 minutes prior to the shave. And this one has been soaking maybe for about 15, so that's helpful. The feeling of yesterday's UK, it was a very consistently held blade, not a lot of chatter. It moved across my face really well. I couldn't feel the blade necessarily on my skin in some places. I could just feel the cutting happening nicely. And it was a great sensation, and I can see why a lot of people like these razors. And it was probably a little smoother than my American tech. So we will just see how this guy shaves. I'm sure it'll be great no matter what. Now, so the Thomas 2, here's my Roger Quintero shave lather bowl, brush rest, veins in here to help agitate the lather, inturned lip to keep it from flowing out, bottom to hold on to, and a divot, a raised area, not a divot, raised area in the middle to keep the brush from just sliding down into the lather, and also to help with brush bristle agitation. I'm going to spread an almond-sized piece of this shaving soap into the bottom of this, and I'll be right back. Alright, my stubble is about a 24-hour growth, kind of as usual. It has been washed and wet in a shower, so that is also something that's atypical. I usually shower after the shave. Alright, so we're going to take out the Boar brush. This is about its 22nd use, so it's still fairly young, but this is a Semogue, and most of these Semogues are just really soft and comfortable in just a few uses. With this one, I believe it became very usable and enjoyable within 3 uses. Now, I did soak it between 1 and 3 hours before each of those uses as part of a break-in, and so it was more soaking than you might see in a standard usage cycle. There's that 3-day soaking thing that it's kind of floating around all the social stuff. There's an Italian barber out there who was interviewed saying that to speed up Boar brush break-in, they put their Boar brushes in cold water for 3 days, and once or twice a day they pull them out, rub them on a towel, kind of dry them off a little bit, and then put them back in cold. Now, the translation could have lost something in the translation. That many have translated that as cold meaning refrigerator. Others have looked at that and said they just mean, cool water, room temperature water, and so that it could have given rise falsely to a whole trend of people who think that's just the best way to break in a Boar brush. Well, man, this soap is going a long way. We've got a lot of lather generated, and I've just only added 1 teaspoon of water. There goes another teaspoon. It's a nice, soft, light brush. A lot of flow through. It's not a very dense knot here. I don't do the fridge soak on any Boar brush that I value. If I ever do that, I'll probably just do a normal soak in cool water for a while instead of the fridge. And as long as you give it fresh water each day, you don't have to worry about bacteria or anything like that, in my opinion. Definitely don't need to do it in the fridge. I did do a fridge soak with an Omega brush that I didn't care about. It was so rough to break in, wasn't softening or splitting or anything like that. 3 days in the fridge, didn't help it. Man, I am going to end up with a ton of lather with this guy. Obviously, the amount I dug out with the back of my thumbnail trying to get an almond size was more than I needed to get. Well, that's why I have a nice big bowl. Don't have to worry about overflowing. The Captain's Choice lather bowls, you kind of have to worry about that. Fine accoutrements lather bowls, you have to worry about that quite severely. Any lather bowl that's like 4 inches wide or something is going to fail with this kind of lather, that's for sure. There we go. Now it's starting to look a little bit more like a lather. more hydrated. Let's take a feel. Just feel for the slickness. Yeah, it's nice and slick. It's a kind of a thin slickness. There's not a lot of cushion, not a lot of viscosity to resist pressing. I think we're in pretty good shape. I might put another, half teaspoon in there or something. And as I rinse my wet fingertips, rinse the lather from them, I can really feel the slickness coming in there too. So we're looking about 3.5 teaspoons of water with that roughly almond-sized amount of soap. Probably a little more than 1/4 teaspoon if I had to guess, and so that's probably why I'm dealing with an excess of lather. So the notes in this guy, very citrus. This line kind of has a pirate theme. Citrus obviously is a pirate staple if you do any research, because the vitamin C helped to prevent scurvy. And so he did a lime scent that I think he called, something scurvy or something like that. But Thomas 2 has 3 citrus notes in it: oranges, blood oranges, and lemons. It also has dark amber, and then it's all sitting in a light, or surrounded, I think as the website said, with a light sandalwood. A big sandalwood fan, often when those words are used about sandalwood, it's too light to smell. For me at least. So I'm curious if that's going to work out. Let's see here. Definitely get the oranges. And I think the lemons are brightening it up a little bit. Don't think I get the amber, but we'll see how it is on my face. I don't think I get the sandalwood, but it might be just kind of a hint, an accent. Let's see how that... Yeah, I've got tons of lather. Borp. I can't remember if I like to run Black Ship Grooming just a little drier than usual. Why don't we go ahead and just try what we have here. So I'm going to throw a little bit of water on my face before the first pass. Now, the write-up on the website was probably a little bit optimistic when it said it will make your senses come alive. I doubt highly that that's going to come anywhere close to happening. I think what I'll probably feel is like I'm shaving with an orange scented shaving soap. Feels good on my face. This guy is soft brushed, easy backbone, sprays without a problem. Soft tips. The lack of backbone doesn't really provide a much of a massage sensation. But if you're just looking for a brush to give you a really light feel, this is worthy of your consideration. Felt a little dry, so I'm adding a few drops to my brush, and I can see it becoming more creamy. Can definitely see how I use too much soap with this one. I'm tilting my head so that the brush tips can point downwards so that the water I add doesn't just go right down into the handle and out the bottom of the knot. Yeah, lather's improving now with the addition of the water. And so that's 4 teaspoons involved in this lather. I'm going to add some more into the bowl here. Kind of mix it up. Yep, just a nice fresh orange. Nordost I tried recently. Barrister and Man is a brighter, sweeter orange. Maybe in comparison and thinking about that Nordost, I can picture this as having a little woody note. And so maybe I'm picking up on that Sandalwood. So, got excellent face feel. The brush is working the lather. Some people might want their brush to scrub them more, and so this isn't really going to be the best choice for you. But if you're leaning more towards just comfort, a nice soft feel, then this really, maybe even sensitive skin, then this light touch might be a very good choice for you. Feels very soft, especially in this kind of lather. So there are definitely some badgers that don't feel this good. And this guy is maybe $15. So softness, and it's going to get even softer as more of the tips split. So really notable softness for $15 is a wonderful deal, instead of having to pay maybe $45 or more for a badger to do that. All right, feels good on my face. Feels slick. It may not be a champion base like some of Declaration Grooming or Barrister and Man's new stuff, but do we really need the craziest, most awesomest, best lather every time we shave? Especially when Black Ship Grooming and other companies like that, like Sterling, provide some interesting scents to enjoy. Now this one isn't all that interesting. Compared to Nordost, it's a slightly muted orange scent. It's not very strong. And this lather is on the, I believe I brought it into the kind of the perfect realm by adding the water that I did. But just at the 3.5 teaspoon mark, it would have been on the little too dry side. So one thing we can do to kind of feel the lather out is to take some of the excess and move it around on my face. Very comfortable, very slick. And this is a good way to support a small business. Feels great. It feels luxurious and creamy on your skin. This razor did really well. No irritation. Nothing like that. You can maybe could tell it was very quiet. So it's clamping down on the blade really well from the top and bottom is probably true. And that makes for a smooth, consistent shave, and I'm probably going to end up with a nice close cut in addition to all the comfort. All right, so I'm going to add, well, we just add some more. So now we've got 6 teaspoons in with this amount, so let's just bring it all together with a little bit of mixing. And even if I can't tell you the consistency or the exact ratio of how much soap I use, since I approximated the size of an almond, I can't obviously tell you objectively how much water is going in because I'm using a syringe that can do that. But I can show you the consistency visually, and then that way, even if you use half as much soap as I did or twice as much, you can try to achieve that same consistency if you want to. Look at that. That's very different than what I showed you in the beginning. See how I pulled it up and then it just collapsed. Look how elastic and long it is, and it just collapses on itself. That is a beautiful lather, and it feels great on my face. Between my fingers, it is slick, leaves down a nice layer. It feels, yeah, I like this lather. It does have coconut oil in it, and some people are a little bit snobbish about coconut oil, don't think it should be in a shaving soap, and they're entitled to their opinion. But to me, it feels, it's laying down a nice slick layer, feels good to my fingers as well. It's a soap base I really enjoy. Very nice. And I've got tons of it. So when a little goes a long way, that's great news for your wallet. Unless you have a large soap collection like me, and you're just never ever going to get around to using up all the soaps. All right. So that was that first pass. Throw a little bit of water on my face for the second. Cold water. And the water at this location is pretty soft. Excellent. Excellent lather. I had another one by Black Ship that wasn't quite this nice. Wonder if maybe I watered it down too much, or wonder if he's got a new base. I might have to contact him. Yeah, this feels terrific. Getting nice slickness with the razor as well, nice glide. And obviously good protection too. This is a nice brush. Just, if you're focused on the softness, man, this is your guy. This is a good option. I'm liking. So since this is not all that interesting of a soap base, I'm sorry, of a soap scent, it's just kind of a orange with a hint of wood. It's not that strong, but it is, you know, perceivable during the shave. I feel the cutting. This Wizamet blade is just excellent, doing very well. I don't know if it's exactly the same as a Pole Silver, but it's kind of acting like it because I do enjoy the Pole Silvers. Perform similarly for me. This is just an excellent razor. I may even like this just a tad more than the UK version. Excellent. Very nice. So while the scent may not be all that super interesting, I mean, unless you're a big orange fan, you want an orange scent. And I like the cartooning on their logos. It's easy to tell what scent you have. And Black Ship just has some neat animations and graphics to me, in my opinion. So let's lay down this third pass, and I've got another 4 passes of lather in the bowl. How about that? This could even definitely be added. Could add some more water to this if we wanted to. Cross grain again. Excellent glide. And with this razor, oh, a little slowness over here. Wonder if it needs more water. Everywhere else is fine. Maybe that part, as I did a rinse, maybe that part kind of dried out a little bit, so it didn't start off with as much water. Now, since this is the third pass, if you've got some lather built up on your razor right there, and you've got, like I do, a special place where you want to hit it again, instead of having to lather up again, you can kind of unfold it onto the area like that, and then, oh, very comfortable as I do this side cross grain pattern right here. Nice protection, and this razor is just a good firm, mild, but effective, efficient razor, with the blade and the razor working together, to where I sometimes will feel a little bit of irritation as I cross out of that area where it's cross-cut, and I start edging into some small areas around here where it starts to get against the grain, and I can pick that up quickly when I move out of that wrong area, the right area into the wrong. Didn't work out that way at all. So I bet with this razor, perhaps I could, this combination of razor and blade, I could go in against the grain pass, perhaps. But right now, the shave looks good, feels good. Let me do a full rinse here. Yeah, I'm really happy with that shave. I just looked at my little trouble spot right here. With only that kind of extra cross grain direction going this way, as opposed to what I'd been doing most of the rest of the shave going this way, those two combined with this razor and blade gave me a tremendous cut. I can just see the tips and dots of the hair, of some of the hairs, rather than any length of any hairs. And that is a big win for me. So this is a great combination of razor and blade for me. Really happy with the Canadian Tech 1951. Amazing. And this is an interesting scent a little bit. If I were stranded on a desert island or something like that, I could easily enjoy shaving with this one frequently. It's light, maybe I'd say 4 out of 10 in terms of scent strength. And so it's, you know, you're not going to get overwhelmed by it. It's not really going to be strong enough to kind of take you places like some well-designed scents can possibly do. It's just kind of a nice orange scent. And so when the website for Black Ship Grooming says it will make your senses come alive, this kind of skeptic in me says there's no way anybody's going to smell this soap and think that. So then what else are you lying to me about? You know, what else are you over hyperbolizing into the realm of misinformation? To me, I'd rather just not have that kind of statement on the site because it's just far from the truth. I'm sure it's a well-meaning guy. Terry Hogan, I think, might be the guy behind Black Ship. It used to be called Beaver Woodwright, and I like several of his scents. And I placed an order from Maggard and bought Calypso's Curse. Really like that. It's a aquatic, rain and ozone kind of scent with a few little hints of other stuff in it. Really like that. I ordered a full tub, and with that order, I ordered the Thomas 2, and I ordered Queen Anne's Revenge, and that's a pineapple and some other stuff. We'll try that in a few shaves as well. Well, I know I'm going to enjoy the base because it's probably the same one that Thomas 2 has, and so at least there's that to look forward to. And so I got those samples along with Maggard's order. So it's great that Maggard's lets you do that, and for just a couple of bucks, try a new soap. Well, definitely not going to bring Thomas 2 into my collection because of its just lack of kind of sophistication. But it's a good soap. It's just that there's so many awesome ones out there. I think it's a very good soap. The scent is enjoyable. The performance is excellent, and the price is reasonable. So, very good. And, the Wizamet did amazingly today. And, you know, I may not have a post-shave down here with me. Well, if I don't, that's okay. What I'll put on, since we're in the pirate theme, I'll throw on some Old Spice later. I'll put that in my computer system to put into the notes. So you saw the condition of the lather. Well hydrated, long, doesn't really hold up its weight. very much when you get it all tall and stuff. So that's something that you can look for if you want to try to take it to that hydration level and see then how you like the shave. Excellent. And the fact that you're getting a good value for your amount of usage. And I'm just going to you can just watch the tongues of lather as everything falls out, and you can kind of see. And this was a wonderful, this lather was just pretty much spot on, and having a soft brush like this was a delight to use with it. Now with these wooden handles from Semogue, if you didn't know, if you're kind of new to this, it's fine to get them wet during the shave. Rinsing the handle as well, you know, when I rinse everything. However, when you're soaking the brush before the shave, my advice is not to soak the wooden handle at all, because that's going to be problematic. What I do before the shave is I have a small glass jar like this. I'll squeeze the bristles so that it can fit all in there, and I'll fill the water up to then only cover the bristles, and then that's how it soaks. The handle does not soak. And then once I'm done here cleaning up, I will dry the handle off with a towel, as I then strop the brush part, the bristles, with the towel as well. And so then this wood doesn't sit with water on it, and then drops of water are not going to be sitting in the knot itself to cause mold, mildew, or any kind of damage like that. And because the towel will get off all the drops, and there'll just be a little bit of wetness to evaporate in the next 24 hours or so. I like to give my Boar brushes 2 days in between, a day in between uses if I can. And with the 9 brushes I'm cycling through in this Boarathon, that's easy to do. So these hopefully should break in nicely. In a way, I might like to have these same bristles, but a more dense knot, a wider knot, if you will. It's a light brush, and you can see how the brushes do retain a little bit of the bend that you might put on them, but in general, see, they, even when fully wet, they'll just snap right back into very close to their original position, which is great because it keeps those tips on your face. It makes it, to me, a great combination of backbone, because it's flexible enough to make it easy to display, comfortable. It's not scratching on you or anything, but firm enough to where it doesn't feel floppy. When I was shaving with it, I didn't feel like it was bending over, and then I was only getting the feel of like the sides of the bristles like there. It was firm enough where they would snap back, and I knew that I was dealing with this tip area up here. And so that's where the comfort is. It's not really comfortable if you're putting the sides of the bristles on your face like some of the more floppier brushes will do for you, or that it's splaying so much that you've got the bristles to the side and you're just dealing with the middle. That's not going on either. So I think this is a great balance of backbone that reaches comfort but effectiveness and focusing those tips on your face. It balances both of those things really, really well. As for the amber, I don't really know. Oops. A little difficulty as I tried to move it. I don't really know that I picked it up. Power of suggestion may be into play, but as I was smelling the sample, I could maybe smell the amber a little bit, but it's actually so close to a citrus or orange scent, it almost gets tied up into that, I think. It might be nicer, it might be more sophisticated if the dark amber was a little bit more pronounced, and maybe the sandalwood as well. But anyway, I can definitely see how some people might just really enjoy this scent. It's just not quite interesting enough maybe for me to order a full tub. So I believe I ended up with 6 teaspoons of water in this lather. You were able to see the consistency. So there you go. A little bit more, probably a little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon of soap was used. Well, that was a really nice shave. I told you all the things I loved about it, and so I don't need to reiterate that. The excellent closeness. Face, I feel like I don't need to do an aftershave product, a moisturizer, if you will. I have oily skin anyway, so I could probably do that without a problem. But maybe people of average skin could skip it if they wanted to. Or at least you wouldn't feel any danger of using an aftershave splash like with alcohol, because it's a comfortable, maybe that coconut oil is helping to help with post-shave feel. I don't see any redness, definitely no weepers or anything like that. Oh man, that's a close shave on my cheeks. I didn't go against the grain, and it's really almost baby butt smooth. A big win on the blade and razor department, and the lather helped as well. So I'm happy camper. That was a great one. I'm going to really enjoy using this razor in the years to come. All right. Well, there we go. I sure hope, man, I learned some things today, and I sure hope you did too. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care. Have a good night.